Well, hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name's Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping transform your life, your business, your body, your health, your fitness, taking you from where you are right now to be unstoppable. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about making sure that you don't confuse energy with adrenaline. Now, most people listening to this are going to be business entrepreneurs, and we tend to, tend to thrive on that next deal, the sale, the opportunity that comes up. And when it does, and we get it, it's like we get this surge of adrenaline, and that just keeps us going forward to that next thing and that next thing. And that next thing, we're always looking for that next big thing, that next shiny object. And that makes us feel good because it's like all the work that we're doing is working and we're getting the payoffs. And ultimately, that's what we're living for, to get those things. But what I'm finding is with a lot of very successful entrepreneurs is that they do confuse the adrenaline with energy, and their health is suffering as a result of that. So a lot of entrepreneurs don't do a good job at looking after themselves. And you might be one of them right now. I mean, there's a couple of different things that we need to look at here. One is, so what is your idea of health right now? What is the regime that you have? What does healthy mean for you? And I'm going to generalize here, but normally the person that doesn't really look after their health and is overweight and, doesn't really care. They'll say, well, I watch what I eat and I try and do a bit of exercise. I walk every day with the dog and, I just try and stay active. Now, normally when people give you responses like that gives you a pretty good insight into the fact that, well, actually, this isn't a really high value for them. They may not be overweight. Some will be, but they don't place a really big emphasis on it. There's other things happening in their life where that is the higher priority. And for a lot of people, it's focusing on the money. And that's what happens with entrepreneurs. They're focusing on that next thing so that they can make money, because that's what they've wanted to do all their life. And they're not working for somebody. So, well, if I don't work, I don't make the money, so I don't get to that next level. But in the process, they find that they're getting really quite unwell. And it's not necessarily hitting you like a snowball in the face until you least expect it. So if somebody asked me, what does health mean to me? Now I might be at the other extreme, and I would say, well, what health means to me is I'm doing at least 3 to 4 strength training sessions a week. I'm doing some cardio intensely 1 day a week. I'm walking every other day. I'm making sure that I get at least 10,000 steps in. I'm making sure that I get at least 6 hours of sleep every night. I make sure that I'm drinking 3 to 4 plus litres of clean, fresh water every day. I make sure that I'm taking my supplements. I make sure that I take my fish oil, my magnesium, my vitamin D tablets. I make sure that I am eating at least 6 to 8 highly nutritious meals a day. What does that mean? Nutritious meals for me means making sure that I'm getting in the right sort of protein, the right amount of vegetables, only having the high energy carbohydrates around my workout, making sure that I'm using the best quality supplements and protein powders that I can get my hands on. And making sure that I'm documenting, tracking what it is that I'm doing, whether it's my workouts, tracking every single weight, every single rep, making sure I'm tracking all of those things, making sure that I'm tracking my food as well. So you can see there's a big difference, isn't there? Like, it's very, very specific for me. Also making sure that I get scans, making sure that I do measurements, making sure that I do photos so that I can track the progress of what my body is doing and how I'm living my life. Now, for me, if I'm not doing those things, then I feel like I'm robbing myself short, because I want to bring the best version of myself to my business as an entrepreneur. And I want to bring my best person forward to you. listening to this, and to be a coach to everybody else and to my clients, and to be the best dad that I can be, and to be the best partner that I can be as well. And I've attached my health and fitness to all of those things. So if I'm unsuccessful with my health and fitness, I'm unsuccessful with everything. So there's a big difference. So you might need to just up your definition of what it is that you define as your health and your fitness. And I mean, you know where you are right now. I mean, be completely honest with yourself, and you're either in a really fantastic place and you have everything under control, or you're deluding yourself. And well, there's three things. You might be deluding yourself and saying, well, actually, no, I'm okay, but you're really not. And the other situation is that, well, you're not in a good place, and you know you're not in a good place, which is where most clients are when they come to me. So there's the maintenance side of this, but then I want you to start thinking about, so what are the checks in place that we can make sure to see whether you are in a good place or not. So with my definition and what I do every day, you can just naturally look at me and you may perceive that, well, actually, you're quite healthy. In fact, you're very healthy. Well, I won't tell you that bit yet, but just because of what I'm doing, it sounds maybe intense to some people, it might sound normal to other people, but you would just think, because I'm doing all that work, I must be incredibly healthy. Now, as luck would have it, I guess, I am very healthy. And the only reason I know that is because I get tested regularly. And so one of the scans that I just had a few weeks ago was my DEXA scan, which assesses body fat percentage and so forth. Now, this is just purely a test on body fat and body composition, so it doesn't look at anything else. But I'm in the top 1% for my age, in terms of where my body is sitting right now in terms of body fat percentage. And that's where I wanted to get to, because the scan before that I was in the top 2%, and I'm like, nah, not good enough. I want to get into the top 1%. And even though I am like that, and that I take really good care of my body, there's one thing that I do every year to make sure that I continue to optimize my health, and that there are some checks and balances in place. So just like a DEXA scan, it doesn't lie, the results don't lie. And you can be looking in the mirror and you can suck your tummy and say, yep, I look pretty good, I'm not overweight, or I'm not this. But the DEXA scan doesn't lie, and it'll tell you, actually, this is what your body fat percentage is, and that puts you in an overweight category or too high or whatever. These other tests also don't lie. So every single year, and I use my birthday as a reminder to go and have all of this done, I have an annual checkup with my GP. So this is where you want to establish a really good relationship with a good GP that you're happy to talk about everything in terms of your health and wellness with. And I have a very good one who I actually then picked up as a client, and he's looked after me and my family for a number of years now. So the very first thing that I do is have a complete physical. So what does that mean? So it means having your blood pressure taken. It means, looking into your eyes, your ears, all that kind of stuff, looking into your throat. I have quite a number of moles on me, so I have them go over me completely with magnifying glasses, and it's just not a magnifying glass, but a special magnifying object that they use, and special lights, so that they can inspect them all over me to see, is everything okay there, because I've had a number removed before. I also have a full lot of blood tests done. So that means testing my cholesterol, testing my vitamin levels, my sugar levels, any other thing that needs to be tested for my age, making sure that I have the appropriate male tests because of my age as well. So whether that's a prostate test, whether it's a, what's the other one that they do? It's just a colonoscopy. For females, making sure that you have your relevant tests as well, like pap smears and mammograms and so forth, when you get to those, those stages that you need to have those done. And the point of doing all of that is is to make sure that you're keeping on top of things that are happening, because we can see what's happening on the outside, but you can't always tell what's going on the inside. Like cholesterol. Cholesterol's a silent killer. It blocks your arteries and you can have a heart attack and die from it, and then it's too late. And say, oh wow, geez, look at this person's arteries. It's full of fatty deposits and everything. It just sneaks up on you and then whacks you in the face in a way that you don't like. So this is why you've got to keep a track of these things. I like to look at it like a passport. So it's establishing a passport of your health. Then all you've got is really a maximum of 12 months from one test to the next where something can go wrong. So you could go in today and it'd be all okay, and then maybe something happens tomorrow. Well, at least in 12 months' time, you're going to pick that up unless your body sends you a signal in some other way, and you're going to identify what it is sooner. But it's really, really important to do. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't have a regular doctor they see. They don't do an annual checkup. They don't have regular blood tests. I recommend it to all my clients, because I get people that come in here with high blood pressure, they're on medication, they're overweight, they've got high cholesterol, and a range of different conditions. And I say, if you can, go and get a blood test as soon as you can now, so that you can see what things are like now, and then compare how much this changed lifestyle is going to have for you. So I encourage you all to do that. It's really, really important, so that it doesn't matter what age you are either. Get it done now so that you can see what's happening in your body over time. It can also uncover some of those things that might be masking this adrenaline versus energy thing. You might be thinking, well, yeah, no, I've got plenty of energy, therefore I'm very healthy. But in fact, when you have these tests, you might find that actually I'm not as healthy as I think. And come to think about it, I'm not doing a bunch of these things that I probably should be. Because when people get the negative results, or they can be read a couple of ways, but when you get a result that is not going in your favour, often people don't know what to do, and they'll say, oh, maybe you just do a bit more exercise, watch what you're eating and stuff, but people don't know how to do it, and they think, oh, well, what does that mean exactly? So this is why, next step, with your health and your fitness, when it comes to driving your business, you get coaching, you want to be successful, you want to keep getting those wins on the board, keep growing your business, keep getting further and further, or if you're working for someone else, you want to keep moving up that corporate ladder so that you can get more and more success. Most people tend to be driven by money, but that's not the only driver. There's also helping others and having a greater contribution to people around you that drives people as well. But when you think about those things, you'll say, yeah, well, of course, I'll get some coaching. But often, people don't think, well, I need to get a coach for my health and my fitness. Think about it like this. If you're dead, you have zero health and fitness. So why wouldn't you want to create the best version of yourself in terms of health and wellness so that you could be that better entrepreneur? And when I work with sporting teams, like I've worked with world champion teams, I've worked with Australian champion teams, I've worked with a number of different sports, from sports like cheerleading through to floorball, to running. The principles all stay the same. The point is that if I can go into any team and say, do you know what, I can give you an edge over your competitors by doing this one thing. And I talk to them about the food and how that impacts what it is that they're doing on the court. And if you think about it like this, in terms of a goalkeeper in a sport like floorball, if you don't know what floorball is, imagine just like ice hockey or something like that, except it's on floorboards without a puck, but it's got a ball instead. But it's very, very fast. They're very skilled people. Imagine the goalie and the difference between the puck is coming towards them and the difference between now and now. You know, it's like a click of fingers, boom, boom. And imagine if they just lost that focus for that click of the fingers. That's the difference between a goal and stopping a goal. And when you can think about it in those terms, you think, oh yeah, that really makes sense. Now, I don't go into these teams and give them more skills. I go in and give them more knowledge so that they can implement it in their life. And it doesn't matter whether it's the worst player on the team or the best player on the team. They can all get this extra edge through focus by looking after their health and specifically looking after their food around the performance times, etc., etc. Because what you find with many sports, they have very grueling schedules. So I'll often say, let's take cheerleading, for instance. My two daughters do cheerleading. They can be starting very, very early in the day. It might be getting up at 5 a.m., for instance, putting on all their hair and makeup and everything. They might compete earlier in the day. Then they may then not compete until later that night, like the Australian Championships last year. And so the girls are almost exhausted by the time they get to that stage. And what happens? They get falls. Like there's falls happening, there's people messing up and stuff because of concentration and fatigue, and they haven't eaten the right foods. So this just is the same for you. You can become a better entrepreneur, making better decisions, being more productive. Imagine if you had 10% or 20% more productivity in your day and say, oh, well, yeah, I'd take that. That'd give you focus. That would give you maybe more sales. You just don't know what you'll do with that extra energy. If I could give you that extra energy and it be real energy and not adrenaline, then I think you'd really enjoy the process of saying, you know what, I've got this surplus bit of energy. Here's what I'm going to do with it. Here's another way of looking at it. Imagine for a moment if you took 20% more energy into the bedroom at night. I tell you what, your life would completely change, and so would your partners. So you've got to get a coach in this area as well. It's, if not more important than like a traditional business coach, because if you're not putting your body and health in the best possible position, you're not going to get the most out of your business coaching. So that's my thought for the day. Do not mistake adrenaline for energy. We want to create real energy, real sustainable energy through sustainable practices. So if you want to get a consultation with me personally so that we can start moving your body in the right direction and getting you that 20% more energy to do what you like, even taking it into the bedroom, go to mentaltoughnessandbodyshow.com, scroll to the bottom, click on the link there, and then I will schedule a time with you so that we can start getting you feel more energized, more healthy, and more in control and doing whatever you like with that 20% energy. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. I'll see you tomorrow.